Characters having their own friend group in RPG games is one of my absolute favorite things ever, as the interactions between them allow their character to grow in more ways than just the original main story-driven plot. Zenless scratches this itch to the 10th degree, as they have dedicated factions with characters that interact damn near 24/7. Today, I wanted to go into a deep dive on the first faction we see in Zenless and the most well-known among the community, the Cunning Hares, also known as the Gentle House. The Cunning Hares is a group of hollow investigators that exude found family vibes throughout their time on screen. They tend to be less serious with issues and commissions compared to other well-known factions, but this does not stop them from being popular in New Eridu. This group consists of the most unfinancially stable girl ever, Nicole, the mysterious potential government soldier runaway, Anby, the baby girl android, Billy the Kid, and finally, the most adorable cat you could want, Nekomiya. Now that you know what each member looks like, let's take a dive into everything we know about them so far, starting with their leader. Nicole is actually quite an interesting character besides her looks, which, isn't really an issue, as you can tell. She's an intelligent, money-obsessed, 5'4", ghost-fearing boss of the odd-job agency, the Cunning Hares. She may seem cold-hearted and only care about those that are in her close circle, but you quickly learn while spending time with her that she's actually quite the softie when it comes to caring about others, especially kids. In her young years, she spent quite a lot of time in an orphanage. Unfortunately, we don't know what happened to her parents, but it's safe to assume that they may have been involved in a hollow incident that cost them their lives. While in the orphanage, she had a friend that was suffering from terminal ether corruption and didn't have much time left. Their last wish was to see the sunlight one last time, but due to being bedridden, couldn't go outside without a special suit on. So, Nicole gathered up as many other kids in the orphanage as she could to go around the street picking up dinnies to try and earn enough to buy the suit and grant her friend's final wish. However, as you can imagine, they did not earn nearly enough to make such a lofty purchase, and so Nicole used her cunning intellect to come up with a new plan. Instead of bringing her friend to the sunlight, bring the sunlight to her. She lined up the other kids and had them use dinnies to reflect the light and create a beam that she could shine through the window and act as the sun for one final moment. This is when she realized the power of dinnies and what they could accomplish. There are rumors that Nicole once reached an adoption agreement with a prominent family, yet shortly afterward, she reappeared by herself somewhere in New Eridu and has been out around the streets ever since. Nicole's agency was once called Gentle House, but due to her reputation of being cunning, it gained the nickname the Cunning Hares. While I'm not sure what the motivation behind the original name Gentle House is, I think the devs may have based it on the book Gentle House, written by Anna Perot Rose in 1954. This book is based around an orphan who almost got adopted, but due to having behavioral problems got left behind. Later in the book, the orphan found a home in which they found safe, their own Gentle House. While Nicole did not find a home herself, she inadvertently is providing a home to the other team members, which helps provide the found family vibe they exude on screen. They are seemingly constantly in debt, and their careful budgeting seems to have no effect on the organization. According to the Hollow Investigative Association license archive information, Nicole has a high aptitude for ether, is permitted to conduct investigations like basic mining in known hollows and companion hollows. However, unsurprisingly, data shows Nicole's Hollow Investigator license has not been renewed for a long time and is about to expire. She's also the one who obtained the commission to steal the strongbox from the Red Fang Gang or Miguel Silver to try and get the Cunning Hares out of debt, which is what leads into the events at the very start of the game. One final fun fact is that Nicole's briefcase uses collapsible technology to conceal the inner workings into a machine gun that can fire normal rounds and also compressed etheric matter to generate ether-induced black holes that suck in anything around the impact of the shot. Her signature Bangbu Emilion uses the same tech for their turret used in combat. The burger and movie-obsessed agent Anby Demara is the second member of the Cunning Hares, but is among the strongest of its fighters. She lacks common sense and often finds herself believing scenes in movies to be real, which skews her look on reality. While she does share the last name of Nicole, she is not blood-related in any way. Much of her past is actually a complete mystery, and she doesn't like to speak on it. However, what we do know is that she was picked up by Nicole near the ruins of the old capital due to her great combat abilities. The first recorded appearance of the name Anby Demara happens to be after this incident, and may hint at the reason that Anby has such an emotional dependence on Nicole. Due to this emotional dependence, she's often seen upset when Nicole compliments Nekomata, which Billy equates to the fact that, quote, Anby was here first. The HIA license archive information shows that Anby has high aptitude for ether and is also permitted to conduct investigations and basic mining in known hollows and companion hollows similar to Nicole. Anby's investigator license has also not been updated for a long time. Because of the emotional dependence on Nicole, Anby can be seen going out of her way to try and get good reviews for the Cunning Hares without Nicole knowing, by going into the hollows herself and saving thugs, then requesting that they mass leave positive comments and report negative ones. Her overall favorite movie is called Rescue from Hell, which is a movie about an investigator that risked their life to rescue a teammate, only to find out that it was an ethereal that can mimic human speech and behavior after they left the hollow. This is actually the first movie we see Anby make a reference to in-game the first time we enter a hollow. According to Billy, Anby watches this all the time, and even asks the rest of the Hares to watch it on her birthday. The art for this movie, by the way, is so sick. The way that they show an ethereal reaching out with a normal hand, they honestly did not have to go this hard on a cover that we almost never see. Due to her past being so mysterious, we will have to speculate on a lot of her current information. Her weapon and combat style is very similar to Soldier 11 and looks extremely similar in both visuals and fighting style. They even use the exact same face model in-game, which leads into the fact that Anby could be a military soldier that went AWOL and ran away. There is no confirmation on this, but there is a ton of hints pointing toward it. Even Fairy mentions it in-game. If she was a military soldier since birth who was only treated as a weapon, then it would make sense as to why now she has that dependence on Nicole, who may have been the first person to ever give Anby compassion and empathy. Overall, Anby is an incredible friend to have and gets the job done. Don't forget to reward her with a burger. An android obsessed with the knockoff Power Rangers called the Starlight Knights, and a gorgeous actress named Monica, which he keeps a picture of in his locker. Who would have known he is such a powerful ally to have in battle? Billy the Kid uses two pistols he calls ladies that were given to him from a good friend. While this good friend is not directly mentioned by name, we can safely assume that it may have been his old boss in the outer ring of New Eridu. That's where Billy was originally from. His old boss bought him from a group of drifters and actually gave him the name Billy the Kid. The Outer Ring appears to be a Western-style wasteland, and Billy swears that he used to be infamous back then. His old home fell apart, and those that were following his boss let him go. He then went on a journey alone until he found his way to New Eridu, which he made his home with the Gentle House. While this may sound like his boss may have been killed, it does appear in his bio that he does in fact keep in touch with a certain gang leader from the Outer Zone still. On launch, we should be introduced to a faction from the Outer Ring, so hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about Billy's past during that introduction as well. His android frame was actually made using metal and lost technology from the old era before the hollows, which make him pretty special. Ether adaptability for androids depends entirely on the materials that they were built with. He's also one of the few shown androids to have passed the Forbidden Fruit test, which is a test for AI to prove that they are intelligent enough to have their own personality and soul. He's the silly comedy relief in the Gentle House, but is extremely smart and capable when times get too serious. You can often hear him yelling out Starlight Knight quotes as he fights, and even see him leaving fanboy comments on internet posts related to either Monica or the Knights. There is an interesting interaction Billy has with Enzo, where Enzo mentions that he used to know someone in a biker gang in Outer Ring who wore a red scarf and had white hair. Once this is brought up, Billy immediately tries to leave the conversation, so there's a chance that Billy may have had a motorcycle at one point, or knows the person that Enzo was referring to. According to the HIA licensing archive, Billy possesses excellent ether adaptability and is approved to carry out basic tasks such as extractions within established hollows and companion hollows. The cutest cat girl in the game so far is Nekomiya. Before we start talking about the information for Nekomata, I need to warn you that she is added to the Gentle House after the events of Chapter 1 in the main story of the game. So if you wish to keep Chapter 1 a surprise, I suggest skipping this part, as there will be multiple massive spoilers. Nekomata is the only Theron of the Gentle House, Therons being the half-animal, half-human characters in the world of New Eridu. She's a mischievous girl who likes to play harmless pranks and has an insatiable curiosity for the outside world. Oftentimes, you can hear her meow while talking, but she actually only does this to seem cute, and it's not a normal, natural occurrence to her being a cat. She holds significant interest in Nicole compared to the rest of the group. According to the New Eridu Citizen Verification, Nekomata has excellent aptitude for ether and is also permitted to conduct investigations in basic mining in known hollows and companion hollows. One interesting thing about Thyrans is that they're able to adapt to the environment in the hollows better than humans. However, due to their faster metabolism, once corrupted, they'll experience systems at a faster rate than humans. Similarly, their efficiency in recovering from the symptoms when leaving the hollows is also faster. In her young years, she was an orphan who lived on Canvas Street and was adopted by the Red Fang gang. She had their leader, Miguel Silver, as a fatherly role in her life. Due to differing beliefs, Nekomata ditched the Red Fang gang to go at it alone. But once she heard about the demise of Miguel Silver due to the hands of the Cunning Hares leading him into a hollow, she wanted revenge. After spending time with the group and realizing that it was in fact not the Cunning Hares that let him in, but actually the public security that caused him to fall in and become an ethereal, she stopped trying to get revenge on the Gentle House and decided to sacrifice herself as a bargaining chip to end Vision Corporation's plans in the Dead End Hollow. After the fiasco of Chapter 1 ends, she attempts to go back to being alone on the street, but Anby decides to put aside her spite for Nekomata and invite her out to dinner to celebrate with the Cunning Hares and to stay as a new member. Odds are Anby did this because she relates to running away from her past and being alone on the streets like Nekomata, and knowing how well Nicole treats her, decided to add her to the group. Nekomata is honestly the best example from the Cunning Hares of it being a found family. After becoming a member, Nekomata truly does see the rest of the group as incredibly important to her, and even spends her entire first paycheck from being in the Hares on gifts for everyone else. Even though she's happy with the Cunning Hares, she does still become somber when talking about the past with the Red Fang gang and how life used to be. To no one's surprise, Nekomata does indeed love mackerel more than anything else. Well, besides stealing your wallet, anyway. And that sums up the Gentle House, also known as the Cunning Hares. This faction is absolutely one of my favorites so far, which may be due to the fact that they have the most screen time, but also because I adore the found family trope so much, which is just executed so well here. If you have any questions on any of the members, feel free to leave it in the comments below, and I would love to answer them. In the coming weeks, I will also post a deep dive into Bellabog Heavy Industries and their members, so make sure to subscribe and keep up to date on Zenless lore. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go treat Anby to a burger. I wonder what her favorite burger place is. If they ever say.